Hey grade 6s, we're going to be doing some volleyball court games tomorrow that I'd like you to take a look at. And in order to explain them, of course I need a volleyball court. So we'll take a look at our court. Here it is. When you get in there tomorrow, you're going to find out that the court has two nets set up. It'll have the typical net down the center, and we're going to have two additional nets across the long ways of the gym. So it's going to divide the entire gym into 4 courts. You're going to be divided into your 4 squads, and each squad is going to be in a different court. So you've got squad 1 will be over here, squad 2 over here, squad 3 over here, and squad 4 over here. And you're going to be in your squad to do your stretches. So you'll just spread out in the court that your squad is on. And then what you're going to do is we're going to play a game, everyone hit tag, and everyone's going to play just in their own square. So you're just playing among your squad, and we'll see how that works out. The second game, warm-up game we're going to do is called Loose Caboose. And what's going to happen is everyone in the squad is going to make sort of a train by holding onto the clothes of the person in front of them. And you have to work together as a team to try to prevent one person from grabbing onto the caboose at the end of the train. And so we're going to basically try to move this way and that way, trying to stop the extra person or the one person in the squad from joining onto the back of the train. When they do get onto the back, then the person at the front of the train now becomes the person that tries to get on the back. And we'll just keep going and see who can get on the fastest or whatever in your squad. So that'll be kind of a fun game. Then we're going to play forecourt volleyball. And this squad, squad 1, is going to be the king squad. Then we'll have the queen court, we'll have the rook court, and we'll have the pawn court. And the kings always start off with the volleyball. And with the volleyball, we'll play normal rules. So we'll play, say, 3 to 5 hits per side. And the first court will start with it, and they can serve into any of the other courts. And the thing is, if it hits the ground on one of the other courts, then that court, the people in that court have to move now to the pawn court, which is down here. So you just keep going. If you've ever played Foursquare, it's similar to that. And we'll see which squad can stay in the king's court up here the longest. And so the king court serves it. Maybe they serve over to the queen knocks it over to the rook back to the queen, and it hits the ground. And so what's going to happen is the queen now moves over to the pawn court over there. So all those people move, and the people that were in the pawn move up to the rook. The people in the rook now move up to the queen. The ball goes back to the king court. The king court serves. Maybe they serve to the pawn. The pawn knocks it over to the rook. The rook knocks it back to the king. It hits the ground. The kings are out, so now the kings have to move into the pawns, and everyone else moves up. The pawns to the rooks to the queen to the king. And then the king serves from there. So the whole idea is to get your squad to stay in that square, in that court, for the longest amount of time. Our final game is going to be like forecourt volleyball, but it's going to have a poison element to it. Each squad is going to get 5 beanbags. And then what's going to happen is you will serve from your court, and you will stay in your court. But every time you lose the serve, or every time it hits the ball, hits the floor in your court, or say you serve it, it hits the net and bounces down, then what happens is you lose a beanbag. And so the point is you're trying to not lose your beanbags. You're trying to stay in the game as long as possible. If your team does lose all their beanbags, then your squad splits up. Now you can pick and choose to go into any of the other courts. So say it was, what was the rook court, say squad 3 loses all their beanbags, then what happens is some of them can go into squad 2, some can go into squad 1, or they can all choose to go into squad 4. And then we'll see which squad stays in the longest. And if anyone ever serves it into the poison square, say squad 3's out, so this is now empty, then they lose a beanbag as well. So it's going to be lots of fun tomorrow, doing some volleyball court games, and looking forward to it. Enjoy!